Okay, so I got one last thing to show you on for this video, and we're going to attach one of these blocks to the bottom of the rat line. So if you remember, this one cable I tied a big knot in the bottom there at the end there, so it wouldn't come through. So what first thing I do is I'm gonna cut that off. Okay. So then we're ended up with this is the end coming out, and then we have the eye. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed the farthest one through the eye, and bring it all the way up. So, and I'm just going to tie a knot in this. It's a little sticky. Yeah, if you had something to hold on to it, it'd probably go better. Okay, so now I've got that end. Okay, so I'm going to just tie a knot. You could get fancy, tying fancy knots. You wrap it around the upright and then back down, but I'm trying to get it up there as tight as I can. Use my little pair of tweezers here. I want to try and pull that as tight as I can. Another pair of tweezers here. Tweezers are pretty handy, especially when you got big fingers like I do. So it's pretty tight there. So I'm just gonna tighten that. Oh, still a little ways away there, so there. Now you can just run it through again, make another knot, just a granny knot. Make sure I'm not around that pin. Very particular work here. Okay, so I'm going to just lift that up, put that under there. See if I pull it against the tweezers, it kind of helps. Okay, so now that's tied up there. Okay, so next, this end that sticks out that we cut off. Okay, so this is going to be in real life, it'll be the adjuster. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take this. We're going to put some glue on that, and we're going to cut that off after the glue dries. Okay. Okay, I would around that other, don't want that in there. Okay, so then I'm going to run this. I'm going to just put a knot in there. Tricky. So it's going to look like it's just a tied off end. So in real life they would just tie that off, and then we're going to cut it off. So it look like they're going to untie this here. So we just cut that off, and they would untie this here and then pull on that, and then through the, like a pulley system, it would pull through these blocks and then tighten this shroud line, rat line here. So okay, so what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of glue in there. Oop, there's lots of glue there. Okay, now I would put a little bit of glue on there, and I'm going to just rub some down here too. Like I said before, you can use crazy glue. Most of the pro builders, I think, they use the crazy glue. But okay, and then when I'm finished, I will cut this line off flush. So then we'll end up with the block, the tightening line, and then on the bottom side of the block we're going to put a piece of wire, thin copper wire, and that's what's going to fasten it down to the eyes in the deck. So until we get caught up with other stuff, I guess that's it for today. If I run across anything, I will let you know. Okay, so Flatliner Mike back again. This is the next part, and we're going to glue the knots on the rat lines. Okay, so I've got a little bit of white glue. This is Weld Bond, and I've got a little toothpick. It's hard to see. Little white toothpick, plastic ones. So what I do is I just squeeze a little bit of glue on here, and then I just take a little gob. It does dry pretty fast, so then I just gob it on the end here. I want to kind of try and get it on the knot. Like that. And that's how you glue on glue the knots on. But see, it does move the knot. Sometimes you got to move it back. You want them all even. I just eyeball them. They're pretty good. I got a good eyeball, so. If it's got a little whoopie-doo there, a little sag, that's okay, because natural rope ladders have sags in them, so when you put them on the ship, you'll see them, they'll look more natural. So just gonna do this. So what I did was I'll show you. I'll just get a couple more here. Just kind of dabbed on there, and then you can. Some of it's got a little bit of a scum in it, skimming over a little bit already. Don't want that on there. So trying to just go over it and smooth it out so it's easier transition there. When it dries clear, so you won't see it. So what I did is I told you it was 22 on this one, and it is 3 3/4 long. So how I know that is I actually have plans that are scale plans. So they have the rope ladders all laid out for you. All you have to do is measure it. So what I did was I measured the length of the ladder, or the rat line, whatever, and then I tied my 22 ropes across, and then after I got them all tied, I try to leave that little, probably close to 1/4 inch space between them, and that's probably pretty close. So once I get them all tied on, then I measure from the bottom rung all the way to the top, and I moved the top one. I was only out like 1/8 inch or so. Moved the top one to 2 and 3 or 3 3/4, and then I adjust the spacing so it's about even all the way along. And so then I end up with the proper length. Now you have to do both the same ones on each side, have to be the same length. So I made sure that I was the other one was the same. So we've got, this one's almost done here. Okay, so just the one more cross piece I have to do. Okay, so there we go. Smooth them out a bit, and this will dry clear. You won't even see all that. Okay, so we got that done. Now the next thing I wanted to do, see, is we're going to do the blocks that goes on the bottom of them. Okay, so we're going to do them. I'm just going to move this off to the side. Until that dries, and then we're going to be finished that. So, okay, so here I have okay, I think I'm going to change my camera angle. So I'll do that right now. Okay, we're back again, and I just want to show you this jig. This is what I bought off of Amazon. You can buy it at a hobby store or whatever. Just made out of really, really thin plywood, and you kind of assemble it. It does have measurement to here. Your distance between, you can change it. I've got it set pretty close, just about the minimum size. So we're going to make one of the blocks, adjuster blocks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, one of these blocks here. I've got two here. They're very, very small, and if you got big fingers, they're really hard. Okay, so what I do, probably the experienced guys are going to cringe, but I'm going to cut off one eye because, like I said before, I use a piece of wire that goes through one of these holes. Okay, now I'm going to stick the pliers or the tweezers in here. And this is the part I cut off right here. So I'm going to slide it down into here so it's snug. Then the other one, I have the eye still on it, which is what gets tied to the rope at the bottom of the rat line. Okay, so I got it on my tweezers here, and then I'm going to just slide this one down so that the eye is facing out. Okay, so I'm a little bit cockeyed there. You can see I've got one that is lower than the other. So I'm going to try and move one of them up and the other one down. So one of them as even as I can. There. So these little uprights here, they kind of springy, so they'll hold on to it quite well. I tried tying this when I first got it without this jig, and it takes lots of patience. You got to have something that holds them in place while you tie it, and then get it correct. So what I'm going to do, there's a hole here, and a hole on the top here. So I'm going to start with the bottom one. I'm going to stick it in here. Okay, so I'm going to have to put my magnifiers on, because even though I got my glasses on, this is very, very small. I've got a pair of magnifiers that go on top of my head. Very, very good thing to have. Okay, so now I'm going to tie, because this is quite small thread, I'm going to tie knots in this. Maybe. Wet my finger a bit. Okay, I'm going to tie a knot in this one. Okay, I'm going to tie it. A total of 3. I don't want it to come back through. So what I'm doing is just tying a stop. Honestly, I don't know if that's right. Now, you see my knot's apart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and tie one right in the middle. There, so I made a good knot there. Okay, so then I'm going to pull it back so the knot will stop. And after I glue this, after it's all tied on, I'm going to just snip this end off. Okay, so I'm going to just cut this off, because we need a little bit of, it's just easier to go through. Okay, so I'm in the bottom one there, so I'm going to go to the bottom one on this side. So you could too put them in a needle, thread them. Okay, so now I'm in the bottom. Now I'm going to go back to this one, and I'm going to go to the top one, which is on this end. Yeah. Very, very particular work. Okay, so I'm going to use the tweezers. Okay, so the problem I have is sticking, covering the hole here. There. This has been used quite a bit, so it's got a little bit of glue sticking out there. So it's not going through. Okay, so we just kind of okay, gonna have to reposition this bottom one. Okay, we'll try that again. Very, very particular. If I have to, I'll cut the end off again a little bit just to give it a clean, straight edge. There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna, whoop. Okay, so I've got that pulled through. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the top one, which is on the far side of this one. And here we have the same problem. So it helps if you kind of clean the edges with, because it gets a little bit of glue on there. Okay, and then we're going to go to the next one, which is the top one on this side. Okay, and then the last one. Is there. Okay, so now we're just going to snug them up so they're fairly tight. Then I have a pair of forceps. I just clamp them on, and that keeps pressure on them. Let them hang. And then I take a little bit of glue, which I'll just squeeze a little more out. Maybe. Okay, squeeze a little more glue out. Oof, that was lots. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there at each hole. Sort of almost cover it. Scrape it off. Now, if you use crazy glue, it'll just flow right in there, and then it hardens. That's what usually they recommend, but my problem is I don't do enough in one shot to use a lot of crazy glue, because my problem is it goes bad after, it goes hard on me, and before I can use the whole thing, even with the small ones, and I find I end up wasting more than I do using anymore. So okay, so I'm just gonna cover that in whole. Okay, so now we're gonna let that dry, and that's all there is to it. Just very particular work, and so until the next part, we'll be back. Hey, this is Flatlander Mike from Saskatchewan, Canada, and we're going to do the next part of this. I'm going to show you how to wrap the line around for the rat lines, how to set them up. I did the second level, and here we have a finished one here. You notice I don't have the blocks on the back yet. I'm still building the blocks. So we're gonna show you how to start them. So I'm gonna take a bunch of thread. So I want a little bit of thread left over, because we're gonna have to go wrap it around the mast. So it's always better have too much than not enough. So I'm going to do a clove hitch here on the first one. So I'm going to fold this top one over so this one is underneath. And then I'm going to take second one, make a loop like that. And there we have a clove hitch. Okay, so now this next one is the top rat line for the top of the mast, and so it's only two, so we're gonna use these two pegs here. Okay, so I'm gonna tie a clove hitch on this one. Now if you need to move the lines closer together, you can use this one and put your clove hitch on the other side, and this one here you can put it on this side, so then you have a narrower one. So, but I'm going to just tie them one on each one here. So, okay, so then I'm going to leave about 8-10 inches, cut it off, and then we're going to wrap the next one. So we're going to use the same one, leave about 7-10 inches out there. Okay, so I'm going to tie another clove hitch. This, whoop, see it popped off. So the right one is underneath the left one. Okay, then another loop, and there we have a clove hitch. If you tighten it like that, it tightens up. Okay, so now I'm going to tie one for at the bottom. So we're going to tie one here. Just snug it up. Then make another one. There, so we have the two. Now I'm going to cut up about another 8-10 inches off. Leave a bunch. Okay, and then I'm going to bring it across. See, make sure you can see that. Okay, and we're going to tie a clove hitch on this one with the two strands. Try and keep it a little snug there. Okay. Okay, now on the other end we're going to do the same thing. We're going to tie it off to this one. So I'm going to let me see, we've got to go this way. So that way. There. It should look like a pretzel before you tighten it up. Okay, so now all I have to do is I have to just turn these a little bit and then turn this one and it snugs up. So now I've got lots of tension there. And same as on the top side, I can just give it a little turn. Puts tension on it. Not too tight though, you don't want it to break. So okay, so then all we have to do is tie that off. Tie on the other one. So we're gonna do the other side. So this is the port side. So I've got a P here, which is the left, and this one here, 3. 1, 2, 3 should be right. Okay, so I'm going to just put that on there, the white, so you can see it. Some thread here. Okay, so I got an extra pin here. Okay, clove hitch, and then we're going to go down here, and another one. Okay, so this is starboard, so there's a starboard there. Cut some off. Okay, and then we'll do that again. Doesn't matter which one you start with. Just make sure you got a little bit of extra there, because you got to remember you're going to be doing it, tying the ends to either the blocks or you're going to be tying it to the mast, wherever you're going to end up. So there's that one. Do one more clove hitch. There we go. Okay, got not much. Okay, so then I'm just gonna use this pin here. I'll move this pin over and apply a hitch. Oh, got that wrong. Okay, so just go under. And you'll tell. See, that's not right. See down here, we've got a, see how the loop turns back on itself? That's not correct. So we went the wrong way there. So we're going to just undo that one. So you got to watch that. So there. So now we got like a pretzel. Okay, snug that up. Okay, then I'm going to take the excess on the bottom. This is the bottom side. I'm going to go over to this pin. I'm going to tie another clove hitch. And there we go. So now you see how this is loose. So I'm just going to give that a little turn. And then turn this one. Just snug them up so that it's tight. Okay, so we got that one tied. So they're all ready to put the cross pieces in. Okay, so I'm just going to put this aside for a sec. Show you the block that I tied on the last video. Okay, so this is a block here. Take off that one. So now I'm just going to pull this out. Okay, so there we have a block. So there's the eye, this end, and then there's stuff we'll do with that. So okay, so there's another one. So now I got 4 made. So I need one more. So anyway, I will do that. Actually, I'm gonna show you. I told you in the last video that you can measure from the plans. Well, I'll show you the plans, and then you can see. So I'll just pause for a sec. Okay, so I'll just show you the plans here. So these are the plans come with the boat. This is all the deck plans, where you put all the deck fittings and whatever. And there's some other stuff here, like some ropes here, chains, ropes I guess on this one. I don't have all these put in yet. I figure I'll do the masts and then I will finish them. The boats, safe lifeboats. This is a cabin. And then these are supports for other lines that come down. So the chain kind of holds the support steady, and then the other, they fasten into it. So here we got the outside, that's a side view. Shows you where the mast comes down. The other mast here. And all kinds of neat stuff. Okay, so that's one side, and then this is kind of a diagram of how you lay the planks. This is the lengthwise here. So this is for the hull. Okay, and then we're going to just flip it over here. And here we have diagrams of the supporting ropes for the mast. So here we have, these are all the blocks here, and then they all go to different spots on the mast. Then we have some that come down here. They all come down to different spots on the bowsprit and on the deck. And then we have, these are the ladders, the rat lines. So we have one there, one here, and one up here. That's the top one. Okay, so then what you can do is you can take a ruler and you can measure. This is to scale plans. So this is the actual size of the boat here, and these are the plans. So you can actually measure. If you're not sure how long, like for instance this lead here, if you're not sure how, you just measure it, and that's exactly the length. So we have all those, see, all these blocks that we're building. So this is only one side, so it's doubled. So here we have the other ones, and then some more on the back ones. So we're going to be tying these ones. I'm going to tie these next. And because it's a shorter mast, I'm going to have to count all these cross pieces and make sure that we have the same amount. And up here also. And then up here. So anyway, so there's that plan there. Here we have sort of a closer view of the things. This is how they put the mast together. This is a close-up of how you rig the boom on the back. Front, it's got little pivots here. Those are made of brass. And then it goes all the way up and shows you how to put the yard arms on. These are the brackets for the yard arms. And then this is like platforms. That's here. So then it has little tiny holes in here, and that's where your the ropes come up here. Okay, so we got all that, and then it tells you they're all numbered. These numbers here, they have, let's say at F33, we have a list of parts here. Comes with this, and then so that was 333. So we can go down here, and there's 16 of them, and R333. So there's a picture of all the parts and the numbers of them, so you can tell which one goes where. So anyway, yeah. So we got so this one here, this next mast comes through the holes here and goes down to the mast, and then the same as this one here. This is the middle one. Rat lines, they come through the holes and down to the mast. So, and this is looking at from behind, and here we have all the cross pieces, yard arms come across. You can actually measure these yard arms. The measurements are accurate there. Okay, and then the last diagram is the most confusing. This is where all your lines go, all your rigging. This one here, I have to figure out where this one goes. This goes to the end of the mast, and it gives you the control of the yard arms, so you can swing it both ways and then fasten it so to catch the wind. And you would do that to both of them, all of them. So it's quite elaborate. Lots and lots of rigging. I'm not even quite near there yet, but I did some of it. So, and also gives you a rig. The dotted lines is for the sails, so you can see the dot lines here. Along here, that's a sail. That's a jib. And there's 1, 2, 3, I think, 3 jibs on the front. So maybe even 4. But anyway, I'm not going to rig it with sails. It's going to be rigged as if it's sitting in port. So I might get a couple sails in and wrap them up around the yard arms, and just to make it look a little better. So anyway, so I'll let you go for now, and till the next video.